Up in the sky? Is it a bird? Is it a plane? Is it DC's most powerful sorcerer character that I can find? Don't call me on it if that's wrong. That's just what they're saying. What's going on, Super Friends? It's SuperDude in a polo. Changing things up. Looking better. Looking stronger. Here in the Fortress of Bro-itude, I am excited for this video. I've tried this video on 2 other separate occasions and had to erase it for different interruptions, but I don't have any interruptions right now. I'm full force going straight into it. My mind's a little all over the place, but we are going to get this done for you. At least these first 2, if not more. Now, what are we going to do? Well, I did Swamp Thing, and I did a little bit of history, and I talked about his gameplay and and all that. And then I did Cheetah. I did Cheetah and a little bit of her history and things like did that. Talked about her gameplay, that kind of thing. Non-logo having soda. Now, I excuse me. I am going to do Dr.Fate in the same manner, and Robin is going to be the next video that I do like this. SuperDude SuperThoughts on DrFate, SuperDude SuperThoughts on Robin. Now, at the end of this video, I'm going to be discussing a cool idea I have for the Injustice game, a cool thing that I'm going to do for certain specific characters that may or may not make it into Injustice. But the reason I'm doing Dr. Fate and Robin today is because they were discussed in the Watchtower live stream that, if you saw my previous video, you know I discussed the live stream and everything good they talked about there. But right now, I'm going to jump into first a little bit of origin for Dr. Fate, and then I'm going to discuss his gameplay and the way he works. Now, work for me. Alright, so give me a second. Kent Nelson is Dr. Fate, a powerful sorcerer and agent for the Lords of Order who fights evil alongside his wife Enza. His amulet, cloak, and helmet are creations of the ancient Nabu, who acts as his mentor and spiritual guide. He is also a founding member of the Justice Society of America, just like I am a founding member of the Justice Bro-Society of America. 2 different things. Kent Nelson was the son of archaeologist Sven Nelson, and around the year 1920, the 2 of them were exploring the valley of Ur in Mesopotamia when they discovered an underground pyramid. It contained Nabu, an ancient immortal from the planet Celia, who has been held in suspended animation for thousands of years. Kent released him, but the lever accidentally unleashed a poisonous gas that killed his father, Kent's father. Sven, if you're keeping up. It would later be revealed that Nabu engineered this situation to gain a new host. Nabu decided to mentor the young boy in the secrets of the universe, giving him incredible powers through total molecular control and taking his grief away from him. He would serve as an agent of the Lords of Order in their never-ending battle against the Lords of Chaos. Having finished his training, Nabu gave him an amulet, cloak, and helmet to become a champion of good known as Dr. Fate. Kent would go on adventures as Fate, although Nabu's spirit would always guide him through the helmet, and he would awaken with little memory of his own exploits. He would go on to meet a beautiful college student named Enza Kramer while traveling through Alexandria, and she would become his longtime romantic partner and confidant. His first battle being against the evil sorcerer Wotan, who struck at him through Enza using an agent named Thomas Frawley. Now, that's his origin type thing. Basically, this Kent Nelson guy puts on the Dr. Fate helmet and is essentially possessed by the spirit of Naboo, who takes over. Who takes over his mind and does incredible things. Dr. Fate is one of the most powerful characters, I believe, in DC at all. I think that also is what makes his power dangerous. Like they say, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Hashtag Legends of Tomorrow. No spoilers here, but I'll talk about that later. It's gonna be so good. They are. Dr. Fate's powers are never explicitly capped. They're never explicitly like stopped, and that's the thing about magic wielding characters, is that they're never really, they're never really stopped. They're never really like, you don't know what they can or can't do. You don't know what their limitations are. It has been said before that the overuse of his powers is draining on the individual that wears the helmet, so he's got to be careful. But that's a really cheap weakness. Like, it's really small compared to other stuff, like Superman's kryptonite, Batman's anything that kills a human. Just the fact that he doesn't have a readied weakness is interesting. Now we're going to move on to his gameplay that was shown off today in the live stream. Now, I talked about this earlier in my Watchtower live stream video, but I didn't go too far in depth with it because I wanted to save it for this. I personally like the fact that they didn't give him... I didn't see any, like barely any, if any, physical touching the opponent attacks. Like, I guess a good opposite of that would be Cheetah, right? Cheetah, basically anyone who doesn't use magic, because like Dr. Fate is very magic oriented. The effects on him look good. First of all, let's get that out there. The effects on Dr. Fate look incredible. He is one of my favorite designed characters of the game so far. They got him down to a T. They got his design the way it should be, gold tinted, not yellow like in one of the cartoons. He was yellow and not gold. He looked mustardy. I think it's Batman Brave and the Bold where he looks mustardy. But Dr. Fate's gameplay style is very zone heavy. He does a thing, and I love the little hand motions, like the thing, like the little stuff, like the fact that he floats. The little stuff in his gameplay is incredible. He does a combo where he like does a bunch of stuff and then it ends in like a magic beam that looks really good. He does a projectile, basically pew is what it, and then if you mute a bird, it's pew pew pew. Just 3 different ones in a row. He does a ball. This ball orb thing. His dash, even little things like that. His dash is a teleport, but it looks like a teleport but acts like a dash. So you can't, like, he's not invulnerable while he's backdashing. You can hit him out of the teleport. It's not a traditional teleport in that sense. It just looks like a teleport. It's really cool. He has a healing orb and a damaging. He has a healing orb and a damaging orb, like one that will heal him if he's standing in it, and one that will hurt the opponent if the opponent's standing in it. Whew. His trait, I like the idea of his trait. His trait is dark magic. What that means is his trait, when you activate his trait, his magic turns red. He gets this red glow about him, and all his magic does far more damage. He goes from being a zone to being in your face all of a sudden. It's very, very interesting. There was one of his gear abilities. I'm just going to go. One of his gear abilities is The orb now tracks. The orb that he shoots tracks. It's really sweet, really interesting. And then he also gets an air dash, which is a gear ability, which I thought is cool. His super is basically he sucks the opponent into his little amulet, and he's transported to another dimension where a bunch of Dr.Fates just beat the crap out of him. I'm feeling like there's something I'm... Oh! One of his big things he does are the Ankhs. He gets a little Ankh symbol, and you can summon 1, 2, or 3. Now, I don't think they do anything individually, but if you launch, basically you launch the Ankhs at the opponent, and if all 3 of them hit the opponent, then a pillar of magic is dropped on him, like a magic pillar is dropped on him, and it does a significant amount of damage. What I really like is the Ankhs are up here when he's doing his general magic, but if you do dark magic, they sort of circle around him, evil dark magic style. It's really interesting. They got his his motions are really good, fluid, simple stuff, simple yet complex. He looks like Dr.Fate. Like, it looks like you're picking up Dr.Fate and using him, and that's really what we want. One of the only negatives that I can say is the gear that they showed. I'm not going to get too harsh, but the gear that they showed was not that impressive. And that was my fear, was how do you take an iconic helmet like Dr.Fate's and mess with it to look unique and actually good? I'm sure they can, and maybe it was just the shaders they had on, maybe it just wasn't my color, whatever. But for some reason, the colors they showed were not impressive. And I would say go watch the video of the breakdowns of these characters if you want to know a little more in depth. I'm really just sort of marching through a lot of it. I always like to answer if I'll play as the character. I'm going to attempt a Dr.Fate. I'm not good with zoners. I'm not good with with zoning magic type stuff. I wasn't good with Zatanna. I don't think I'm going to be good with Dr.Fate. That's my theory. I'm not sure how good I'm going to be with Dr.Fate, but I'm excited to give Dr.Fate a try, and I'm excited to play as Dr.Fate, and I'm glad he's in the game. I can't wait to see what his role is in story mode. But that's going to be my Dr.Fate video, guys. The next video I'm going to be doing is a thoughts on Robin, Damian Wayne. And I'm also, here's the thing I was going to tell you about at the beginning. Here's what I was going to tell you about. I'm going to be doing a video series called SuperDude's Fantasy Draft. And what that is not football, it's not sports. It's going to be me taking a character from DC that I like that is either not yet in the game or hasn't made the game that I think should make the game. And I'm going to be discussing that character. I'm going to be discussing that character. I'm going to be discussing the origins like I'm doing for these, like they were characters in the game. But instead of how they play, it's how I think they could play. How I think they would act. What I think their trait would be. It's all speculation on the fantasy draft. That's why it's a fantasy draft. Now I'm going to try, here's going to be the hard part, to avoid doing characters I think will be DLC. However, no I'm not, never mind, because that's going to be impossible. But if a character if I do a character in this fantasy draft, I'm going to do another video for them later on called SuperDude SuperThoughts on Red Hood or whoever, or Joker or Captain Cold or whoever gets announced. Legitimately, I'm going to be doing a video on them called SuperDude SuperThoughts. We'll use Red Hood as an example. Red Hood Redux. Where I'll be redoing my video on the actual gameplay and stuff of that character. But that is for later. right now, I'm getting ready to record my Dr.Fate video. It's still probably going to be in the same, or Dr.Fate Robin video. I'm going to be in the same polo because I'm literally sitting here over, record as much as I can while I still have the energy that I've got. So, until next time, guys, you know how it goes. You guys have been Super Friends. I've been SuperDude, Manos, Bro-o-steel. Somebody make me a Bro-o-steel logo. Or Dude of Steel. SuperDude. A Dude of Steel logo. It'd be awesome. Until next time, guys, this is SuperDude saying to you, up, and away.